It really feels like the world of software development has hit warp speed,
Okay.
doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You're constantly hearing about new threats, the pressure to release faster, and teams wrestling with like a dozen different tools just to get a product out the door.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting complex.
That's why we're taking a deep dive today into GitLab. We're going to dissect their fourth quarter fiscal year 2025 earnings report and, well, map out what they're envisioning for fiscal year 2026.
Exactly. We've got their investor presentation and the earnings call transcript right here. Think of this as, your shortcut to understanding not just the numbers, but the underlying strategies and where GitLab sees itself fitting into the future of tech.
Right.
Our goal is to kind of filter out the corporate speak and deliver the crucial insights about their performance and direction, especially the parts that are going to be relevant for you if you're tracking the tech landscape.
Absolutely. We'll be drilling down into their financial health, of course, but also their core strategic moves and what's happening behind the scenes with their product development, with a keen eye on their advancements in AI. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Let's get straight to it. How did GitLab actually perform in the last 3 months of their fiscal year, Q4?
So in Q4 FY25, they put up some genuinely impressive numbers. Their revenue reached $211.4 million. That's a solid 29% increase year over year. And what's particularly noteworthy is that they actually exceeded their own projections.
Okay, beating
Yeah.
expectations.
And beyond just the top line, they also hit a record non-GAAP operating margin of 18%. That's a significant jump.
Wow, an 18% operating margin, that really speaks to their efficiency, doesn't it? What about how much cash they were generating?
That's another strong indicator. Their adjusted free cash flow margin was a healthy 29%, which translates to $62.1 million.
Sure.
This shows they're not just growing revenue, they're doing it in a way that generates significant cash. And one more key metric that really highlights their customer relationship strength is their dollar-based net retention rate, which came in at 123%.
123%. Okay. For anyone listening who might not be totally familiar, what does that net retention rate actually tell us?
Well, a dollar-based net retention rate above 100% basically means that their existing customer base is spending more money with GitLab over time.
Right.
And this could be through adding more users, maybe adopting more features, or even through price adjustments sometimes. A rate as high as 122% is a really powerful signal of customer satisfaction and how sticky their platform is.
Sticky, yeah.
It suggests a powerful flywheel effect where existing users are becoming significant drivers of future revenue growth, potentially reducing their reliance on purely new customer acquisition.
That really paints a picture of strong momentum in that quarter. Did that performance hold up when you look at the entire fiscal year 2025?
Absolutely. For the full fiscal year 2025, GitLab's total revenue reached $759 million. That represents a robust 31% growth compared to the previous year.
It's still strong growth.
Yeah. They also saw a really substantial expansion in their non-GAAP operating margin, reaching 10%. That was a significant 1046 basis point jump. That's 10.46 percentage points.
Wow, that's a big jump in margin.
It is. And their adjusted free cash flow also saw impressive growth, hitting $120 million, which was a 259% increase from the year before.
Okay, those are some pretty impressive growth figures across the board. It definitely looks like they're not just bringing in new customers, but also deepening their engagement with the ones they already have and, well, becoming more efficient in the process. Speaking of customers, who exactly is adopting GitLab?
Right, so their customer base is not only growing, but also increasingly leaning towards larger organizations. By the end of Q4 FY25, they had 9,893 customers, contributing at least $5,000 in annual recurring revenue, or ARR.
Okay, 5,000 plus.
Yeah, and this group is key because they account for over 95% of GitLab's total ARR. But even more interesting is the strong growth they're seeing in their larger customer segments.
When you say larger, what kind of scale are we talking about, like ARR-wise?
So they reported 12,229 customers with an ARR of $100,000 or more,
Okay.
which is a solid 29% increase year over year. And at the very top end, they now have 123 customers with an ARR of $1 million or more.
$123 million customers.
Yeah. This growth in these significant accounts really highlights their ability to meet the complex needs of major enterprises.
It sounds like they're really making significant inroads with those bigger players. The investor presentation mentioned a few key strategic themes. What stood out to you there?
Yeah, there were three core themes they emphasized. The first one was platform consolidation. GitLab is positioning itself as that comprehensive DevSecOps platform that can essentially replace the often messy and disconnected collection of individual tools that many organizations end up using.
The tool sprawl problem.
Exactly. This resonates with the increasing frustration many teams face with that tool sprawl.
That definitely sounds appealing. I can imagine the headache of trying to integrate a dozen different systems. Did they offer any like real-world examples of companies actually doing this with GitLab?
They did. They highlighted Caisse de dépôt et consignation. That's the investment arm of the French state.
Okay.
They initially found success using GitLab Ultimate within their infrastructure team, and now they're in the process of expanding its use across their entire development organization.
Nah, interesting.
So this means standardizing on GitLab for everything from managing their code and running CI/CD pipelines to agile project planning and security vulnerability scanning.
The whole shebang.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
The goal for CDC is to really simplify their entire development process, reduce their technical debt, and, importantly, strengthen their security posture by having all these critical tools integrated.
That's a pretty compelling example of the power of platform consolidation in action. What were the other key strategic themes they were focusing on?
Okay, the second major theme was the criticality of security. GitLab is really emphasizing the importance of building security directly into every stage of the software development lifecycle.
Shift left, right.
Exactly, shift left. This includes embedding security scanning tools right within the platform to help organizations proactively strengthen their overall security posture. Given the ever-increasing threat landscape, this focus on integrated security is likely a significant drive for many organizations.
Absolutely. Security really can't be bolted on as an afterthought anymore. And what was that third key strategic pillar?
The final strategic theme was GitLab Duo. This is their AI-powered assistance that they are strategically weaving throughout the entire software development lifecycle. They clearly see AI not just as a feature, but as like a fundamental layer of their platform moving forward.
GitLab Duo. That sounds like a significant development. Let's dive a bit deeper into their AI strategy. What exactly is GitLab Duo and how are they positioning it in the market?
So GitLab Duo is described as an AI-powered DevSecOps platform.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is their long-term vision for it. They're talking about moving beyond the more common reactive prompt-based AI. Let's think of, asking an AI to write a specific piece of code.
Like Copilot, basically.
Right, like Copilot or similar tools.
Yeah.
They want to move towards a more proactive and autonomous AI. They're developing what they call autonomous AI agents with their Duo workflow being in private beta as of February 2025. This represents a potentially significant leap in how AI assists developers.
Autonomous AI agents. That does sound like a big step. What would that actually look like for someone using the platform, like practically?
Well, the idea is that these agents would proactively assist developers throughout the entire process, developing, deploying, securing software, rather than just waiting for specific commands.
Okay.
This could involve automatically suggesting ways to improve code quality, maybe identifying potential security weaknesses without being explicitly asked, or even helping to automate entire sequences of development tasks.
Yep.
GitLab's core belief here is that to truly leverage AI in software development, you need a really robust foundation for managing the entire software lifecycle at scale, which is where their comprehensive platform becomes so critical.
So the breadth of their platform gives GitLab a real advantage when it comes to implementing AI in a meaningful way. Is that the idea?
Exactly. They emphasize that the rich context provided by their end-to-end DevSecOps platform is absolutely essential for making their AI initiatives truly effective. They believe this deep contextual integration is what will set GitLab Duo apart from more generic, standalone AI code generation tools.
That makes a lot of sense. The investor presentation even hinted that AI could potentially increase the overall number of people involved in creating software. How do they see that happening?
Yeah, their perspective is that AI has the potential to lower the traditional barriers to entry for software development by automating some of the more complex or repetitive tasks. This could empower a wider range of individuals to participate in the creation of software, even if they don't have extensive traditional coding backgrounds. As their CEO, Sid Sijbrandij, pointed out during the earnings call, AI presents an opportunity to sort of raise the level of abstraction in software development, making it potentially easier than ever before to build software.
It sounds like a pretty ambitious long-term vision. They did acknowledge that there's already competition in the AI code generation space, right? I mean, GitHub Copilot is a major player, and new tools are popping up all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they are definitely very aware of the existing competitive landscape. They specifically mentioned GitHub Copilot, as well as other emerging tools like Cursor and Anthropic's Claude Code.
Right.
However, their strategy for differentiating GitLab Duo isn't solely focused on the raw AI capabilities themselves. Instead, they're emphasizing the deep level of integration within the broader GitLab platform.
Back to the platform advantage.
Exactly. They believe that this contextual awareness and the ability to leverage data from across the entire DevSecOps lifecycle will provide GitLab Duo with a significant advantage over more general-purpose AI tools. Their CEO even described Duo as potentially evolving into an autonomous engineering buddy that seamlessly works alongside developers within the familiar GitLab environment.
An autonomous engineering buddy. Huh. Okay, so we've looked at their recent performance and these key strategic pillars. What does all of this mean for their actual plans and priorities for the upcoming fiscal year 2026?
Right. So their plan for FY26 is built around three core priorities. First, actively acquiring new customers. Second, accelerating the pace of innovation. And third, making sure their customers realize value from the platform as quickly as possible.
Okay, let's break each of those down a bit. What are their specific goals when it comes to bringing on new customers? Any targets?
Well, they didn't provide exact numerical targets for new customer acquisition in the materials we reviewed, but their consistent growth in customers with significant ARR, like we discussed earlier, clearly indicates their ongoing focus on expanding their customer base, particularly within those larger enterprise segments.
Right, the trends look good.
Yeah, they finished FY25 with close to 10,000 customers generating over 5 tails in ARR, over 1,200 with ARR exceeding $100, and 123 with ARR of $1 million or more. So these numbers suggest a healthy upward trend they'll undoubtedly be looking to maintain.
Makes sense. And the second priority was accelerate innovation. What does that actually involve in practice? What are they investing in?
This encompasses a few key areas of investment. First, they plan to continue heavily investing in their core DevSecOps platform with the goal of enabling even more customers to consolidate their, often fragmented tool chains onto GitLab.
Okay, core platform focus.
Second, they're committed to further developing their existing security and compliance capabilities, recognizing the critical importance of this area for their customers. And crucially, they aim to continue driving significant innovation in agentic AI, particularly with GitLab Duo workflow, pushing towards that vision of more autonomous AI assistance.
It definitely sounds like AI is going to be a major driver of their innovation efforts moving forward. What about that third priority? Unlock value faster for their customers. How do they do that?
Yeah, this is all about ensuring that their customers can quickly and efficiently experience the benefits of using GitLab. Their strategy here includes more intensive onboarding and training programs for their own sales representatives.
Ah, internal training too.
Exactly, to help them get up to speed faster and better articulate the value proposition. They also plan to improve how they educate and enable customers on new features and innovations within the platform. They're implementing standardized customer success plans and expanding their customer success and professional services teams and offerings to provide better ongoing support. They even brought in a new CRO, Chris Weber, to really champion this customer success focus with a comprehensive team and partner-centric approach.
So it's not just about selling the software, but really ensuring that customers are successfully integrating it into their workflows and seeing a tangible return on their investment.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense, especially when your strategy revolves around platform consolidation. Now let's circle back to the numbers. What's their financial outlook for the upcoming fiscal year 2026? Let's start with Q1.
Okay. For the first quarter of FY26, they're projecting revenue to be in the range of $212.0 to $213.0 million.
Okay.
They're also anticipating a non-GAAP operating income between $21.0 and $22.0 million and a non-GAAP net income per share of $13.08 to 15 cents, based on an estimated 172 million weighted average shares.
And what are their overall expectations for the entire fiscal year 2026, the full year?
Right. For the full FY26, GitLab is providing revenue guidance between $936 and $942 million.
Getting close to that billion-dollar run rate?
Yeah, getting there. They're also projecting a non-GAAP operating income of $109 to $114 million and a non-GAAP net income per share in the range of 68 cents to 72 cents, assuming approximately 173 million weighted average shares.
Got it.
And it's important to remember, as they noted, that this guidance is based on the assumption of a stable macroeconomic environment.
A stable macroeconomic environment. Definitely a big caveat these days.
Yeah.
Were there any other interesting financial details or like modeling points that they highlighted?
Yes, there were a couple of notable items. They mentioned that in the first quarter of FY25, they made a $15 million investment in a global team gathering, which will not be a recurring expense in FY26.
Okay, a one-off cost.
Exactly. So as a result, they anticipate their non-GAAP operating margin to remain relatively consistent, maybe flat, between Q1 and Q2 of FY26.
That explains a potential plateau in the margin between those quarters. What was the other financial point that stood out? Something about taxes.
Yeah, this one concerns their tax rate. So with the conclusion of their bilateral advanced pricing agreement, the BAPA with the IRS and a Dutch tax authority, they will be applying a 22% long-term non-GAAP projected tax rate starting in FY26.
Okay.
This new rate reflects the shift of their intellectual property location to the U.S. However, they made it clear that this change doesn't necessarily imply an immediate increase in their actual cash taxes paid. It's more of an accounting projection thing for now.
Interesting shift in their tax approach structurally. The presentation also briefly mentioned GitLab Dedicated. What exactly is that offering?
Right. So GitLab Dedicated is essentially a single-tenant enterprise SaaS DevSecOps platform. Think of it as offering the convenience and efficiency of a software-as-a-service solution, but with the added layers of control and compliance that come with a more isolated, hosted environment.
So single tenant sauce.
Yep. Exactly. This is particularly appealing to larger organizations and those operating in highly regulated industries, like embedded software development, financial services, the public sector, places where data residency or specific compliance needs are paramount.
So it's designed to meet the needs of organizations with more specific and often stricter requirements. Makes sense.
Precisely. They highlighted that Delta Airlines, a significant existing customer, actually chose GitLab Dedicated as a key part of their cloud transformation strategy in the last quarter.
Oh, interesting use case.
Yeah, it really underscores that Dedicated is resonating with organizations that need a more tailored and controlled SaaS experience, but still want the benefits of SaaS.
It sounds like they're really aiming to cater to a wide spectrum of customers, from smaller teams all the way up to large enterprises with very specific needs. We touched briefly on the hiring of a new CRO. How does that fit into their broader go-to-market strategy?
Well, the appointment of Chris Weber as their incoming CRO really signals a reinforced emphasis on their go-to-market execution. Their strategy revolves around a comprehensive approach that involves their entire sales team and their network of partners.
Team effort.
Right. This includes developing clear and effective customer success plans and strategically leveraging professional services to drive broader adoption and deeper utilization of the full GitLab platform. The ultimate goal is to ensure that customers are not just purchasing the software, but are successfully integrating it into their workflows and realizing its maximum potential value, getting that stickiness we talked about.
Right, ensuring the value is unlocked, as they put it. Okay, we've covered a significant amount of ground today. We've delved into their strong financial performance in both Q4 and the entirety of fiscal year 2025.
Yep, strong numbers.
Their core strategic themes centered around platform consolidation, security, and the AI-powered GitLab Duo.
Key pillars.
And their ambitious plans for FY26 that prioritize new customer acquisition, accelerated innovation, and delivering value more rapidly.
Absolutely. GitLab is clearly positioning itself as a frontrunner in the continuously evolving landscape of software development, with a particularly significant bet on the transformative capabilities of AI, especially through GitLab Duo and its progression towards autonomous AI agents.
Yeah, that AI piece feels huge.
It does. Their comprehensive platform strategy appears to be gaining traction with a diverse range of customers, and their financial results certainly reflect a healthy and growing business.
So as you synthesize all of this information, what's the key takeaway that really sticks with you? What's that one thought that leaves you pondering the bigger picture?
Good question. For me, it's the rapidly accelerating role of AI in fundamentally reshaping how software is conceived, created, and deployed. GitLab's vision of integrating proactive autonomous AI throughout the entire DevSecOps lifecycle raises some truly fascinating questions for the future. Like, well, how will these AI-powered platforms ultimately empower developers? Will they primarily serve to augment human creativity and productivity? Or could they potentially lead to the automation of certain roles within the software development process itself? It's a future that is unfolding incredibly quickly. And GitLab is clearly positioning itself to be a key player in shaping that future.
That's definitely a profound point to consider, the whole human-AI collaboration versus automation debate in software. Well, if you, the listener, want to explore any of these topics in greater detail, we strongly encourage you to delve into GitLab's investor presentation and the transcript of their earnings call.
Yeah, definitely check out the source materials.
They contain a wealth of information that can provide you with an even more nuanced understanding of their recent performance and their future trajectory. Going back to the original sources is always the best way to get the complete picture and really consider the implications for your own work or areas of interest within the tech world.